Well, this is the Concorde on display at the Imperial War Museum in Duxford. The model on display here is in fact a pre-production test model, and so it's packed full of test equipment rather than being fitted out for passengers. And in a minute we're actually going to take a walk through it. Walking around underneath the Concorde gives you some idea of the sheer size of it. Looking up at these engines though, it's funny to think that back in the 1980s I actually used to make and repair the engine parts for some of these engines. Amazing. In fact, it was in the late 1980s when I took this brilliant black and white photograph of Concorde skimming along the runway at Hatfield Aerodrome as it passed the control tower. When you tour through this Concorde, you actually go through a turnstile and board at the rear of the aircraft. When you get to the top of the steps, you can't resist looking down and getting some idea of the sheer scale of these huge delta wings. As you enter the aircraft and look inside, the first thing that grabs you is just how small the interior is. It's very cramped compared to modern passenger planes. And as I said, this particular model of Concorde is a pre-production test model, and so you don't see any of the normal trappings that you would see inside a passenger plane. This one is packed full of cables and electrical equipment. Even the overhead luggage compartments are packed full of cables. Another thing that grabs you is just how small the exterior windows are on these planes compared to modern passenger planes. The few seats that they have on this Concorde were for the test crews, probably for takeoff and landing. Most of these test flights took place in the early 1970s, and the Concorde actually went into general service in 1976. The oxygen bottles here were to provide oxygen for the test crews who had to wear pressurised suits and helmets during these test flights. The last time I actually came aboard this Concorde, they were carrying out a nose lowering test, which they do every month. Sadly, they're not doing it today.
Here we've got our clearance detected. Nose to 5, please. That's lowering the nose to our normal taxiing position, releasing the brakes. There we are, rolling forward, all clear, checking emergency brakes.
Well, that concludes our tour of the Concorde here at Duxford. Now to go and have a look around the rest of the museum.
Brake.